Hello, my beautiful Pisces babies, my little water babies. So here we are. Just a quick rundown for you. The sun row, the moon row, sun row, 4 weeks of September. So we've got first, second, third, fourth week, and the sun row is showing our external, our soul drive. But in this case, it's what we're showing on the outside. What people are seeing, what we're letting people see, the mask we're wearing. And when I say mask we're wearing, it doesn't have to be a bad thing. So don't automatically think that it's a bad thing. It's just layers that we've grown to identify ourselves. The second row is the moon row, and that's our soul row. That's what we keep hidden, sometimes even from ourselves, what we are unconscious of, or what we choose not to let others see. Can be our emotions, also lies, illusions, things like that. But usually it's our subconscious things that we're not aware of. Anyway, let's get cracking. So, and forgive my very husky voice. I've contracted the winter lurgy right as the first of spring kicks in the southern hemisphere. I've finally got the winter lurgy. Anyway, over and done with. Let's move on. Yay, spring. So, speaking of the end of winter and all things miserable, the first card we've got up for September, the first week, is death. And if you know me, you will know that death is not a bad thing. It's a transformation. There is no such thing as death the way we've been taught there is. It is just something transforming into something else, the ending, and thus the beginning. So whatever it is for you, my loves, something's ending, and I have a sneaking suspicion that it's something you know has been coming. It's a mask you've been wearing. It's an illusion that you've been carrying around, because this whole reading has a feeling of letting go of the extraneous, irrelevant skin of society that isn't fitting you anymore. So that's I think that's the first thing to go, and I find it really interesting that the sword is going through that person's brain, because that's what it feels like. This row is all up in your head, and this row is your heart and your emotions, because underneath that is the beautiful, one of my favourite cards, the Magician. And this to me says that you have finally realised that you are capable of so much more, that you are not living in your full power, and that you do have everything at your disposal. Consider this as fear. And you've been living in fear for a long time, but I think you're giving fear the flick this month, which is awesome, and you're starting to realise your inner potential, your potential with your intuition to manifest. I mean, Pisces, come on, you're ruled by Neptune. You're so receptive, you know, you're all mysticism and magic and fluid transcendence. Go Pisces. Your advice for the first week is the, ironically, Angel of Reflection. And this is basically saying reflect on what you really want, what you're really capable of, what's not suiting you anymore, what's just, you know, noise. I call it noise, the external noise of the 3D, living in the 3D. the rules of the 3D. Anyway, so with the reflect on what you've got from this, what you've learnt from wearing this mask, and be grateful for it. And then reflect on why you no longer need it and let it go gracefully. And then you can move on to week 2. However, hold that thought. There's going to be a bit of argy-bargy at the beginning of week 2 anyway, because, and this is really interesting for me, because a very similar theme of the external and the internal, the thought and the feeling, runs through until the end of September. And it's a real back and forth, should I, shouldn't I, will I, won't I, yes but, no if, and all of this. But underneath it, underneath the mental wrestle, is a beautiful, deep, calm well of inner knowing. And I'll show you in a minute, but the cards just sit in this beautiful, gentle holding of a well, just waiting for you to look deep enough. So on the top, you've got this follow on from week 1 where, yeah, sure, I'm over that and I don't need it anymore and I can be whoever I want. But you've still got the insecurity battle of not knowing where next. I've still got to work. I've still got to be the father, the mother, the sister, the brother, the employee, the employer, whatever role you have on, you still have to do that, and yet you know you're more than that. So this is where this struggle comes in, and it's perfectly natural when you get to that stage. It's kind of like, right, well, I know deep down what I want. Great. How do I do it? Underneath the mental dogfight is the Queen of Pentacles. Now, if you look at her, she has her head tilted, and that is a real mother pose to me. It's gentle and it's loving, and she's holding the world, but the world also has the 5-pointed star, which is the 4 elements plus spirit. So it's like you are surrounded by everything you need in your support, and I am here. Tell me your troubles. Hand them over to me, and we will work at this together. You don't have to have all the answers. I can hear her saying, now listen, mind, I think it's about time you just stopped fighting amongst yourselves and just sit over here with me and tell me what's going on. I love that. So take some time out. Put the dogs in their respective corners and take some time out and just look at what's really important. And the angel of listening came up as the advice for this week. So instead of listening, I think I'm certain that instead of listening to the noise, the buzzing in your head that you're so used to living with, how about you take a break and actually listen to the depth, listen to the inner knowing, and really quiet, and just, you can say to your mind, okay, look, I know, thank you, we've got a lot to discuss, a lot to work over, but for now I'm just going to sit and listen. We don't need to make any noise for a while. Moving on to week 3, speaking of leaving noise behind, is the 7 of Swords. And this can be any number of things, but given this reading, I think it's really leaving the crap behind, the war wounds and the battle scars, and taking what works and leaving what doesn't. Leaving it behind and moving on. And if you look at the next card, which I find this particular week absolutely intriguing, the next card is the King of Swords, and he's sitting firmly in his truth. And this is after the Queen of Pentacles. So the King of Swords is sitting firmly in his truth, quite calmly. And if you look at the colouring, it's the colour of the third eye and heart, crown chakra. So it's a very higher level thinking in the mind. But I found it really interesting that the advice card is the angel of Buddha nature. And if you look at the king, look at how he's sitting. He's in the Buddha position. And it's a real sit and be calm, be still, sit and be still, I'm hearing. In the fourth, now this is where the whole theme of the month comes, it almost culminated to this last week. You start off with the Strength card. And I think that's beautiful because you've had a lot of mental battle to go through this week, to overcome the noise and hear what's really there for you, what you've been just drowning out up until now. And so now you're finally coming into your strength, which is giving you more balance. The Six of Pentacles is all about balance, equal give and take. And I think this is an equal give and take with you and your expectations of yourself. It's no longer, I have to be this and I can't be this row, all or nothing. It's a real equal give and take. I can be strong and secure in my, 3D world, my thinking world, but I can also let my emotional world and my higher vibration world be the basis on which I build my foundation. The last three advice cards, and I've got to hurry up because my voice is just about to disappear, speak of it. Three came out, and it was the Angel of Fidelity, Sweet Shyness, and Serenity. And when I got the three of them out together, it formed humility. And I just got this image of, because you'd overcome all this noise and you're so proud of yourself for coming into this, it was like all the messages around here speak of, it's such a rush when you finally see the untapped well that is truly who you are, and it's like a geyser that comes up from the deep, and there is a possibility of letting that gusto come out in your everyday life. Now, I'm not saying don't feel the joy or don't feel the passion and the love and everything that you've been suppressing. I'm not saying that. I'm saying, especially with this Buddha nature and sitting in your truth, it's very... Buddha didn't flaunt he was very pragmatic. It's like there's the saying, before enlightenment, chop wood, carry water. After enlightenment, chop wood, carry water. MJ says that all the time, and I just love it. But it's true, you know. It's the most, what some people think of as mundane things that keep us the most humble, the most grounded, and yet the most in communication with spirit. So I think that's the overall message. Let go of the, there was sparkles, no, what are they called? The shiny thing, diamantes. Yeah, let go of those. Find your inner magician. Be gentle with yourself, loving. Sit in your own truth. Find balance and be humble. Now, my loves, just to finish this off, every other reading I've done, I've ended with a Rebel deck advice card. So if you don't like swearing, tune out now and I won't be offended. But let's see what advice you've got for this month. What can we tell Pisces for the month of September, please? What advice have you got, Pisces? Eat your fucking vegetables. Eat some shit made by Mother Nature. Basically, I love this. Let go of the processed, the plastic, and feed yourself something natural and healthy. Love it. Love you. Rock on. And I'll see you next month. Hugs and, as always, kisses. Bye.